Hello, Suzanne Henwood here from mBraining for Success. This video recording, it's a gift, really, a gift from me to you at the end of the year. So I recently ran an mBraining Global Wisdom support group, and I took people through a process to review the year using the head, heart, gut, pelvis, and autonomic nervous system. And it went down very well, and I was asked if there was a script, and there wasn't a script because I was speaking as I was going through the process. So what I've done is gone back to my initial notes, my little prompts. I've created that process again, which I think is even better than when I did it live on the call this month. And I'm sharing it here for you to just take some time out of your busy days to really review and in particular acknowledge yourself for what you've achieved this year. Now, I'm going to invite you to take at least an hour and possibly two. So create some space in your diary. Go somewhere quiet where you've got uninterrupted internet access, but actually completely also uninterrupted for you. Get yourself a little journal or some big sheets of paper that you can doodle on, make notes on. The background that you can see here is just a suggestion of how you might like to, start with a sheet of paper with the head, heart, gut, pelvis down the middle of that page, and the ANS off to one side you can see as a little neuron. The other two circles are environment and community, the people, and there's a few prompt words there too. So I hope that what I can do is just take you through a lovely process, whether you want to look at that from a business perspective or a personal perspective, that's entirely up to you, whether you just want to try and capture the whole year in one go, whatever works for you. What I would say is take it slowly. So I will give the prompt questions and then I will leave a small pause. What I suggest you do is that you pause at those moments and you give yourself however long to write out or draw, use symbols to kind of have a real review at the end that you can look back on and relate to. And the reason I say symbols as well as words, there's some beautiful research out recently about the power of using symbols more than words. So I'm a wordsmith too. I have a bit of a head-brain preference too. So use both, whatever works for you. Also think about color before you get going. Maybe have a range of colors to write in, and you might find that different aspects of the review kind of invite themselves to be in different colors. Color's really important, particularly around state and feel. So when you're ready, we're just going to begin by setting an intention. And I invite you to kind of put a direction on this time together. What's your intention for doing a review of the year? Is it a reminder? Is it to think of the highlights? Is it also to reflect on what you have learned and what you can still learn? So just set yourself that intention. You know that that will set a pathway into your reticular activating system. And as you reflect back, prompted by the questions I'm going to ask, that intention will directionalize the review for you. Okay, fantastic. So let's start with some beautiful balanced breathing. And you might like to close your eyes. You might like to get your body into a beautiful position where the muscles are relaxed and your body posture is such that you can easily hold your head, hold your back straight, feet ideally flat on the floor. Your arms may be resting on your lap. And just in your own time, begin to bring your breathing into an even rhythm. Now, if you're an mBIT coach, you'll be familiar with that. 6 seconds in and 6 seconds out is the ideal that we know to bring our bodies into coherence. And I say bodies, this is not just about the heart, this is bringing all of your brains into coherence and synchrony. If you're not familiar with that, just become aware of the number of seconds your breath in is and the number of seconds your breath out. Now, it might be that you have a hold, particularly after the breath out. It might be that your in-breath and your out-breath are different lengths. That's okay. Just be aware to start with. And then as you become aware, as you become more easy with your breaths, bring your breathing into an even rhythm, whether it's 4, 5, 6, 7, the count isn't as important as the fact that the breath in and out is the same length. And as you let that cycle through an in and out, even breath, just soften your jaw. Let go of any tension in your jaw. Let your tongue relax and rest on the roof of your mouth. You might notice those racing thoughts beginning to slow down. You might notice and can even begin to invite your body to open, be open to learning, open to wisdom, and open to acknowledging yourself. And if you like, now that you're coming into a nice, easy coherence, you might like to take your awareness even beyond your body, beyond your skin surface, and be open to those wider energies and frequencies that also hold wisdom, that come from outside of you, beyond you. Let's start by placing a hand on the heart, taking our attention to the heart, maybe even feeling it beating. And if there was a symbol which gave you a sense of how your heart has been this year, what would that symbol be? And you can maybe just sketch that on the page next to your heart, little symbol. There's no right or wrong. So you might like to just pause this. What symbol does your heart want to make you aware of that symbolizes 2023 as we're doing it this year? If you're watching this further down the line, what symbol represents this year that is just coming to a close? And if you want more time, just pause the video. Give yourself all the time that you need. And as you look now at that symbol that you've drawn, what feelings feature highly related to that symbol, linked to that symbol? Or what feelings emerge as you reflect on that symbol? You might like to just name them specifically and write those words or draw little emojis that represent those feelings in the right colors for you, those that showed up more often or that were more important. Just represent those feelings on the page around your heart area. And again, feel free to pause and give yourself time to feel into those feelings. Which ones showed up regularly for you this year? Beautiful. You might also like to consider, how would you like to feel moving forward? Are some of those feelings ones that you would like to amplify, have more often? Of course, there'll be some feelings that are less comfortable. No feelings are right or wrong. But there might be some that you wish that you didn't feel as often or as strongly. What I'd love you to ask yourself is, what can you do? And maybe this is a question we might come back to at gut level a little later on, but what can you do to feel more of the feelings you want to feel more of? and to feel less of the feelings you want to feel less of. Are there any, for example, that you might like to rub across the top of so that you lose them completely? Not to deny having had them this year, but making a choice that you don't want to feel them next year. Are there some that you absolutely want more of next year? In fact, are there some that you didn't feel this year that you would like to feel next year? Just write those out. Maybe put a sentence or two next to those you want to work on of what you would do in order to make that a reality for next year. And again, pause if you'd like to take time on that. Fantastic. Now, the other thing we know the heart is responsible for, it's our values, what's salient to us. So just again, holding your heart gently and asking, what was important to your heart this year? Any sense of priorities? Were those concepts linked to your importance, your values, your salience? Did you live up to them? Were they met? Or did they conflict at times? Challenge you? We know that values can change over time. Have you reviewed your values recently? And if you have, what new values have started to show up and which ones have kind of dropped out of your top 10? And of course, values are contextual as well. So if you are doing one context for this exercise, great. If you're doing more, feel into which context those values are related to. I thoroughly recommend reviewing all values in all contexts every year at least, maybe across areas like health, work, relationship, finances, fun, connection, spirituality. You choose the areas that are most important to you and then follow a beautiful NLP values elicitation process. But for here and for now, just what are the values that are most important to you for this year? And write those or represent them in some way on your page, around your heart area. Take as much time as you need. Now, another area related to heart is connection to others, relational affect, we call it. So who was important to you this year? Who would you like to honor? Who was your major inspirer or encourager, supporter, cheerleader, advisor, loyal friend, partner, person you had fun with, prayer warrior, people who are prepared to tell you the truth? And maybe you think of other categories as well. Just indicate or write the names of those people you want to say thank you to appreciate deeply. We're wired to connect. It's incredibly important for us to be aware of those connections, build those connections, and honor and appreciate those connections. And having said that, there may be some people that, for whatever reason, you wish to disconnect from. Represent that too, that you've heard that heart message, and that you will distance yourself. You might want to have conversations with them about why, or let them know. Maybe you've already had those conversations. And then just look back at all of those beautiful people you want to honor, acknowledge, appreciate. You might even put a little note about how you could show that appreciation to them directly and overtly in the days to come. And when you're ready, I would love you just to sit back a little and hold your page up in front of you. Hold it quite high, kind of so your eyes are looking up at it. Hold it at arm's length. So there's a little bit of distance, you can see the whole thing. And what is it that you see and feel from here? Is there anything you'd like to add? Any meaning or word or amplification? Any particular aspect, name, word, symbol that you'd like to emphasize? Maybe color over the lines and make it deeper. Anything at all your heart wants you to feel even more deeply. And again, just pause this video and adjust your symbols and words and drawing, however is appropriate for you. And when you're ready, thank your heart and deeply acknowledge how it's helped you to live life this year. Such an important job the heart does, literally as a pump, and so much more that it does in terms of directionalizing our life. Just give it heartfelt thanks, genuine, authentic thanks. And knowing that you can come and speak to it again at any time, just for the sake of this process now, we're going to move around the next breath in to that little picture of the neurone to one side of the diagram. And taking a moment to breathe again fully and evenly, bringing coherence to your whole system through your nerves, sending it deep messages of safety, balance, and harmony. Maybe just gently run your arms and your hands down your arms from your shoulder to your elbow, like giving yourself a gentle hug, deeply knowing you are more than enough with both hands, both shoulders. And feel into your body. Notice what a deep coherence goes right round your whole body. What does that feel like? How do you notice it? And whatever you notice, just smile with each new feature that shows itself. And feeling into that whole body this year, what does your ANS want to alert you to or want you to recall? Make a note, draw a symbol. Maybe it will recall times when you were regulated, free to play, have fun, feel, connect, have a home base, feel safe. What moments, what memories, what feelings arise for you, and just represent them on the page. When did you show exquisite flexibility to adapt and thrive in changing and possibly challenging circumstances? And when didn't you? Let your body know that's okay too. What can you learn from those moments? When you compare it to when you beautifully regulated, what was it you were doing differently in those moments? Or what learning was there for you in those moments? When and how did you truly rest and let your body be quiet and still? When and how did you recharge? Did you stop and recharge at any point? How do you recharge? How do you keep your energy at that optimum level? And then also be able safely to go into rest as a cycle. How is it that you do that? What memories recall from this year where you did that well, or memories where you can learn from it? And assuming you have paused and done that as much as you would like, I'd love you just to draw some cards up on that side of the sheet of paper, like a deck of cards laid out, blank cards. And on each one of those cards, I want you to acknowledge yourself for something you've done. Celebrate. Now, it might be a small thing. It might be a massive thing. It doesn't matter. I want you to truly acknowledge what you've done this year, who you've been this year, and just put a word or symbol, an image on each of those cards. Maybe it's those moments of regulation. Maybe it's having the energy to move towards goals. Make sure you leave some blanks so that you can add to them later. You can come back. And know that you can stack these cards and recall them at will. Use them as an anchor, if you like, for when you need to return to regulated times. So just take some time now to fill in as many cards as you can. How you've been, what you've done. Beautiful. And we know the ANS is intricately linked to health. So how have you been doing health and healthing this year? Any areas of the body that need a little bit more love and attention? Any sense at all of what your ANS would like to alert you to moving into the new year? Is it weight or fitness? Your gut? Flow, energy, focus, strength, calm? What are those areas that your ANS wants you to draw your attention to, get you to focus on? Beautiful. And feeling into your body. What does your ANS know about being the best you? Where do you feel that, and what do you feel? And when did you feel it this year? And again, holding that page up high in front of you, leaning back slightly and looking at it. Is there anything else the ANS wants to alert you to? For you to be aware of, for you to focus on? And how can you highlight that now on this page? Take your time. And when you're ready, thanking your amazing nervous system for all that it does and is doing and will do. And gently, next time you breathe in, taking your focus and your attention up to your head. And as you bring your attention to your amazing head brain, I want you just to do a big yawn. Maybe even a couple of yawns. With stretches, with long, audible out sighs. And what this does is resets your brain networks. It opens up those connections. It allows you to open up your creativity and flow. And now that you've done that, what story have you told yourself this year? If you were to name the chapters, what would the chapters be? And again, they could be words and titles, or they could be symbols. For each one of those, you might like to just write a sentence or two about what it means to you. So if you've put a title, what does that title mean? Just give a little bit more information. You take your time. Again, this might be a moment to pause the video and go through each of the chapters. whether you do that chronologically or thematically. Just take your time. Let your head get creative. And as you look back at those titles and those chapters, what did you learn? Were there any moments of celebrating excellence in learning? What difference did the learning make? I'm a huge proponent for the so what. What do you still know you want to know even more about? Or what do you know that you want to update your learning in? Maybe just put 3 suggestions down that you can take into next year. And of course, we know that the stories our heads come up with, they're more than just about facts and knowing. So what difficult or negative stories featured this year? Were there any? You know, those ones that don't go away easily? Maybe you've questioned whether or not they're true, and how do you know they're true? I guess now the question is it time to close them, to end them? A decision to be made to not return to them, to see them as the end of a chapter with a full stop and turning over the page to begin something new. It's a choice. Is there anything else you need to write at the end of that story in order to be able to move on? Beautiful. Take your time. And what beautiful, amazing, encouraging stories are there that you can celebrate and reread at your leisure, maybe even edit so that you can grow them stronger, add in extra words or stories, symbols, illustrations, meanings. And who can you share those with that will encourage you, but also encourage them? Which of those chapters and which of those stories are not yet complete that you will take with you into the new year? And in what ways did you plan and problem solve this year? Take a moment to reflect those things on the page and acknowledge those precious moments of your amazing ability to adopt and flex and overcome, plan and strategize, evaluate and analyze. What does your head want to remind you of from this year where it did an amazing job? How confident are you now in talking about yourself, about what you know, about your capabilities, what you offer and what you bring to the world? That story of you, how can it be edited from what's happened last year? How can you build it up? Still keep it real, but be prepared to celebrate, acknowledge, enjoy. And just as before, as you hold that page up ahead of you, high up, and you look at it, what does your head really know about this year? What can you acknowledge as story that maybe even wasn't accurate, created for good reason, but no longer serving you? And what stories do you want to emphasize and amplify? And maybe what title do you want to take forward for the next year? What's the title of the next year going to be? Write that on the page too. And as you take your attention back into your body, breathing out deeply and fully, we're going to take our attention right down into the gut, deeply into yourself and into your gut. Just pause for a moment and let your attention land there. Feel it. sense it. Maybe place a hand on your belly and confirm it. And at that gut level, who have you been this year? Which you has shown up? Who have you been at your best and at your worst? Who have you been? Where have you shown huge courage? Courage to step out, step up, extend the boundaries of possibilities of who you are and who you're still becoming. It's an ongoing journey. Where are those moments where you have connected with that courage in a beautiful way? How have you kept yourself safe? That's important too. Take a moment to thank your gut for that. It's such a huge, important task, and we often just take it for granted. Acknowledging and thanking your gut for those other tasks that maybe we don't think of very often. Down here in the gut, just take a moment to feel into your boundaries. Have they served you well this year? Are there any boundaries that could be adjusted? That might mean making them clearer. It might mean creating even more safety, maybe more clarity about who you are and who you want to be, what you will tolerate, which might be different next year from this. Are there any boundaries that could be extended because you've grown and you've got stronger and even more courageous? Are there places where you could trust more? Are there areas of unknown that you want to walk into? Or what does your gut need to tell you? As you reflect on who you are deeply, what is it you say to yourself about who you are? I am. What are your I am statements? What have they been this year? Do they still serve you? What would you like those I am statements to be for next year? So what is it you would like to say in terms of I am moving forward? That might be aspirational. Say them in the present tense. I am. I am already. I am. I am. What is it you believe about yourself? And is that truly deeply supporting you, or is it in some way a reflection of a part of you that was hurt or betrayed or rejected? Is it time to edit that belief now? Maybe even feel that older, wiser you wrapping your arms around that part and telling it, I love you, I see you, I know you inside out, I embrace you and I accept you unconditionally. How does that part respond? Maybe now that it knows it's seen and heard and loved, it might want to move. Feel into where it is in your gut and see if it would like to move somewhere else. Does it want to come out into the light? Does it want to be more seen? Does it have some deeper parts of knowing you that it would love to be in this moment, next moment, this year, next year? Who do you want to be moving forward? What can you take action on? What can you stop taking action on? When you think about your values and your goals for this year, what actions did you take that helped you move towards that? What actions did you take that might have taken you away from it? Is there anything that you need to kind of safely package up and leave behind you somewhere? Safely leave it behind you. Having freed up that space, what resources would you like to pack and have on board to move forward from here? What resources have you made use of this year? What skills, what strengths, what characteristics, what traits? As you think of you now, what is your sense of identity? And dare I say, identitying? We're not a static. We are flexible and changing and adaptive. We are human becomings, as Humberto Maturana says. Who are you becoming? And is your gut on board with you? Is it moving you towards that? Is that where you want to move towards? Again, just hold that page up in front of you, lift it higher. Give your space, the gut space to be. So maybe lean back a little bit, let your abdomen be free to take up space. Imagine you taking up more space beyond your skin surface and looking at that picture, the words, the diagram, the page. What does your gut know? Is there anything else it needs to let you know? What does it know deeply about who you are, what you stand for? And just take a moment to breathe evenly, fully, smiling, swallowing down into your gut, fully accepting and loving yourself afresh. And when you're ready, and if you'd like to, on the next breath out, I want you to drop even deeper into your pelvis. Just drop your attention to the very basin of your pelvic bone. And from this beautiful place of self-love, self-acceptance, what is it that has driven you this year? What rumbles, what sparks, what moves you as you feel into that sense of you that is such a deep connection? Might involve a collaboration with others, with the world. It might be about service to the world. What are you aware of at this level? Where have you felt this year a deep, authentic pleasure of being you and of being in service? Just note those on the page, symbols, words. When have you enjoyed being you? Fully, unapologetically you. What have you done in service of others? Where have you made a difference this year? Just note that down. Take your time. Feel free to continue pausing the video as you move through this process. And as you stay sitting in the pelvis for a moment, what or who have you deeply nurtured this year? How have you deeply nurtured yourself? How have you deeply nurtured your business, your passions? How have you deeply nurtured others? What is it that stirs in you about why you're here, what you're here to do, and what you're here to do next year too? Just take a moment to be still and feel, listen. Listen into that deeper pelvic voice. Begin to recognize it. Maybe you've not listened to it for a while. Invite it to speak in your life. Allow it to be fully present and feel the power and vitality of it. Notice what you notice. Notice how you feel as it comes alive again. And smile strongly and courageously, accepting its power and might, its masculinity, its femininity. Taking that with you in the year to come. What will it enable you to do? And what did it enable you to do this year? And hold that page up again. What do you know about that deeper sense of meaning and purpose? And it's your meaning and purpose, no one else's. It's designed for you, created for you, fits you. You might not know what all of it is at the moment. But if you just have an inkling, a sense, introduce that onto the page. Reflect on it. Keep coming back to it. Add symbols, add color. It's at this level that we wouldn't be us not to do these things. We're urged, we long to. And allowing your attention to move again, just breathe evenly, fully, letting your attention go around the whole body, feeling into that whole system, recognizing the harmony, communication between all of who you are. You're not a head or a heart or a gut or a pelvis or an ANS. You're all of those things, and they work beautifully together. Just feel that beautiful alignment, synchrony. And as you do, allow your attention to expand. And to expand outside of your skin surface, out into your environment. And this year, how have you interacted with your environment or your community or your tribe? What have you done to impact it, to change it in some way? Maybe for better, maybe for worse. Again, this is not about judgment. This is about being aware. Compassionately reflect on how you've made a difference this year and set an intention for how you will make a difference next year. What will you do to make that a reality? And if you imagine it's already here, write an affirmation in the present tense to bring that into being now. And I hope you stopped the video to really do that with stillness and quiet, with strength, vitality. And as you get that sense of that connection to your environment, out to your community, to specific people that come to mind, I want you to reach even further, reach out to God, to spirit, to universe, to that greater quantum field, whatever that is for you, way beyond you, and ask for wisdom and insight that is available from there that maybe you haven't yet seen or acknowledged. What does that wisdom know about the year that's just gone? And what does that wisdom invite for you for the year to come? Focus out into space, into and beyond the stars. Connect in a new way that oneness, that being, that just is, from which you've come and maybe which you've lost connection with. And breathing fully and evenly and in harmony with that wisdom. What special end of year message does it have for you? Just you. Receive it now. Repeat it to yourself. Write it on your page. Feel it as it spreads around your cells. Maybe have a symbol for it. Set yourself some form of marker for how you can reconnect to it at any time. Know how you did that so that you can tune into that wisdom, that wider wisdom, that greater wisdom, greater than you can imagine. You can do that at any time. Breathe that in. Accept that in. Taste it, smell it, feel it. Release anything that inhibits, knowing that the breath can go round, find its way. And bringing your attention back to your beautiful heart, feeling the deepest gratitude and appreciation for all that is and all that has been and all that is yet to come. From this place, if your heart could let you know what it truly desires to feel, to be next year, what's truly important, what message would it give you now? What symbol, what message, and write that down. Take a moment to quietly look again at that whole amazing, exquisite system represented on the page. And in a way, you're in the center of that page, and in another way, you're the whole page. Feel into any and all symbols, words, feelings that stand out for you, and just really take notice of what this year was for you, is for you, and how next year will be because of how this year was. And you might like to keep that page with you as you create a path into next year, a path that will take you into being beautifully, authentically, and amazingly you, the next version of yourself that's here for a purpose and without whom the world would have a hole that's impossible to fill, because you are important and you do matter. And I hope that by doing this process, you have appreciated the impact, the scope, the difference that you have had this year. Bless you. Bless you for being you. Bless you for doing whatever it is you do. Bless you for showing up, for being authentic. And just take a moment to bring all of your body, your cells, your systems, your brains back into the here and now, safely, fully, present, move, breathe, reconnect, and go and do and be exquisitely you, like only you can. I really hope you enjoyed this end of year review, mBraining style. Please reach out. If anything emerged for you that you would like support with or coaching on, please do reach out. If you're an mBIT coach or trainer, do come and join us on the mBraining Global Wisdom support calls. And if you're listening to this because you're a client or someone who's found this because you wanted to do a year in review for yourself, then welcome. Welcome. It's been lovely to have you here. I wish you well. Take care. Stay well. And be you. Bless you. Suzanne Henwood, mBraining for Success.